Okay, so on to point number one, Eagles-Giants. Eagles end up winning this game, thank goodness, because that would have been bad. 5-1, not a way to go. 2-4-1, not much better, but we did pull out the win. So the first one we're going to be going over is in the first quarter, with about 4 minutes left to go, there was a series of plays that took place. It ended up with Golden Tate catching a touchdown pass. So the Eagles had already scored 7 points. They had a position where Wentz had the ball with about 6 minutes left in the game, and he holds on to it for too long. After missing a wide open Fulgham, he also gets hit. And then the Eagles end up having to punt the ball. So they punt the ball from their own 10-yard line. The Giants end up getting the ball at right around the 50. And on the very next play, Daniel Jones hits Golden Tate for a touchdown. This changed everything. The Eagles had the ball. They could have driven down and gotten up multiple points. More than 7 points. They could have been up 10 points or 14 points, or at least drove down the field to the point in which they could have pinned the Giants deep. But we had, again, Carson Wentz missing the ball high. He's wide open in the pocket. Misses Fulgham. A couple plays later, he has the opportunity to throw the ball away. He doesn't. He gets sacked. Now they're trapped deep in their own end, and they're just forced to punt the ball and give the Giants a great starting position. I don't know what it is with Carson Wentz. He starts the game slow a lot of times. He's constantly throwing the ball high. Later in the games, he tends to get a little bit more accurate and be on time. But sure enough, from about the 6th minute down to the 4th minute, we got our point number one for the week, in which we've got another missed wide open receiver. We've got Carson Wentz holding the ball too long. And then on the subsequent punt, the Giants get the ball. And then on the very first play, Eagles blitz. Corner gets beat. Golden Tate, gets into the end zone, does his Vice-Takahema thing where he punches the field goal pole. Personally, I thought it should have been a penalty. I didn't think you were allowed to use the field goal post anymore for celebrations, but it is what it is. So at that point, we're at 7-7. Big momentum change. It's just disappointing to see that kind of a start at times for Carson Wentz, but unlike 2017, he's consistently doing this, and it burned him again today. So now we're sitting at 7-7. Okay, so on to point number two. So we're still sitting at 7-7, 10th minute of the second quarter, and the Giants have the ball. Well, Jalen Mills, who, we've been, crapping all over left and right as corner with the finger wave, as a safety, which didn't work out. He stepped up big here. If you happen to miss this, in the second quarter on back-to-back plays, Jalen Mills helps change the game. So Daniel Jones goes to roll out, and he tries to set his feet. He's got an open receiver. Jalen Mills comes on a delayed blitz, drills him, plants him on his back. He rushes the throw a little bit. It's incomplete. Maybe not the biggest play, but it was big at the time. The very next play, Daniel Jones kind of rushes the ball a little bit. Maybe he's still thinking about getting planted on his back. You never know. But I can tell you that he threw that ball a little bit hard on the very next play, 2nd and 15. It goes off of the wide receiver's hands. Jalen Mills makes a great diving interception, arms extended, which is hard to do. You're diving, you got those hands out, comes down with his elbows, still holds on to the ball. So not the most impactful play or a series of plays of the game, but we believe here at 7 points that was a big turnaround. So congrats to Jalen Mills. He made 2 nice plays in a row, and it was nice to see the defense step up for a change. Point number 3. So again, not the biggest of all the points, but still, ended up being a pretty big play. The Giants hit their wide receiver on a curl. He spins away from the corner, and he's off. Well, McLeod, safety comes up from behind, chases him down, tackles him. Huge play. He 2 more steps, he's gone. It's a touchdown, 80 yards. Giants take the lead right then and there. It's a different football game. And then on the next few plays, the Giants don't score. They end up punting. So it literally takes 7 points off the board. So kudos to McLeod, because without that tackle, again, it's a different ball game. Okay, so point number 4. So this is a little bit more of a series of events as opposed to just one play. And to me, it was one of the bigger parts of the game. So the Eagles are now losing 10-14. They get the ball with right around 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And they start driving. Wentz looks great. All of a sudden, he's wide awake. He's hitting everything he can. He's getting hot. So they go down the field. He's hitting the guy. He's hitting the guy. He's hitting the guy. Accurate, on time. Accurate, on time. 4 straight passes. Gets them all the way down the field. They decide to go for one run play. Next play, they bring in Hurts. And I like Hurts. In a game you're down, division, maybe for your season, you don't bring him in there. It is what it is, but they bring him in. Nothing happens. They bring Wentz back in. They do a draw. And then on fourth down, and with you got your wide receiver in there who's had no catches all year. You throw a fade route into the corner, incomplete. Could have easily been called pass interference. It wasn't. The Eagles turn the ball over on downs. First of all, Wentz is bad at throwing the fade routes. He needs to work on it. I don't get it. He's a tall guy. He's got tall guys. He's just not great at throwing it. It seems to always either be out of bounds or behind the guy or not on time. But this was a decent, okay throw. But to a guy that is never in there, it doesn't make any sense to me. So we had great pass, great pass, great pass, great pass, well-designed stuff. You get down, you bring in Hurts. It just kind of threw a wrench into the works. It screwed up everything. They try a draw with Wentz on the next play. It was almost like Hurts was supposed to still be in there. You were going to do a draw with him, and they decided to let Wentz back in. And, a lot of people beat up that second-round choice for Hurts, but I kind of liked it. But I just think that implementing him in that point was kind of foolish when you got all of a sudden a quarterback with a hot hand, and then you bring in the backup and you don't even throw it. You're constantly just running with him. Defenses are going to catch up at some point if they haven't already. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the ball. He's got one completion. So when he comes in there, it's a running play every time. If you just left Wentz in there, maybe you let him do the same play. The defense, they can't come up on the run. They can't crash the line. They can't put 8 in the box. And instead, we get a bad play, followed by a bad play, followed by a bad throw to a guy who's got no catches and ends up with no points. And then it turns right around and bites us because the Giants come back and drive all the way down the field in the next possession and score a touchdown. So huge game changer in my mind. And again, us here at 7 points, it was one of the big ones of the week. Okay, so now we're into the fourth quarter. Eagles down, 21-10, and they got to do something. So with about 6 minutes left in the game, they're looking a little bit disorganized, but all of a sudden you get Wentz on a little bit of a rollout. He's got Hightower hitting down the sideline, and bam, hits him for 59 yards. Huge play. Hightower makes a great cut on the play, cuts inside, almost beats the safety, almost takes it to the house. Either way, on that drive, they end up scoring the touchdown when later you got Wentz rolling out and hitting that strike in the corner to Ward. So it ends up being a touchdown drive, but that one play was the lion's share of all the yards they got on that whole drive. And it was a pretty good throw, a little bit behind him, but hey, you can't always be perfect. Good throw. He caught it, made a nice move, held on to the ball. We all know about our wide receiver drops issues with young guys, so at least that was good to see too. So definitely a big play. If they would have had to have dinked and dunked their way down the field, they would have used up too much time. And then later in the game, when they scored that game-winning touchdown with 40 seconds left in the game, all those seconds came into play big time. Again, great play. Point number 5, 59-yard pass play to Hightower down the sideline. Big momentum change for that drive. which then led to the touchdown, which puts them down 21-16, after they missed the 2-point conversion. Okay, so point six. Point six was, it wasn't necessarily the biggest play again, but again, we felt it was crucial. With about 2 minutes left, the Eagles had the ball, looking a little bit spotty. The Giants were putting a lot of pressure on. It just had a sack. They sent another blitz at Wentz. He scrambles out the pocket. He bootlegs right, and we fully expect that it's just going to end up being some kind of a throwaway or something. All of a sudden, he sets his feet, and then we got Rodgers running into the middle of the field. And I gotta say, Rodgers might be an older guy, but to me, he has an innate ability to find the holes in the defense. And I think that's what a veteran tight end is supposed to do. So when Wentz rolls out and he's in trouble, Rodgers runs into that open space. Wentz sees him, man, right on time, hits Rodgers, makes a nice couple of moves. We get a 30-yard completion, sets up the rest of that drive. I truly believe without that play, that drive maybe goes nowhere. Wentz made a nice rollout. He throws it right, leads the receiver, which is something that to me Carson Wentz fails to do all too often. He leads him, he lets him keep running, he gets the nice completion, and gets us a little bit further down the field before some of the bigger plays later in the game. Okay, so on to point number 7, which in this week is absolutely the biggest point of the game. Game-winning touchdown. So we all saw what happened. Eagles drive right all the way down there. They get close to the goal line. They get the holding call in the end zone. They get to the 1. And on the very next play, a very sketchy call by the referee where they said, Jason Kelce grabbed and pulled the defensive tackle's face mask and ripped his helmet off, which, if you watch the replay, he didn't do. His hand gets stuck in there. The helmet pops off pretty easily, and they call a 15-yard personal foul on the offense, which is something you almost never see called. Really, in my opinion, it should have just been hands to the face. That's a 5-yard penalty. We get 15, we get pushed all the way back to the 18-yard line, and we pretty much think, well, hell, this is probably going to be it right here. Well, on the very next play, our big play of the game, we get Carson Wentz gets trapped in the corner a little bit. Little Boston Scott gets out into the flat with a much taller guy covering him. Carson Wentz, he takes a step up, throws one of the best passes I've seen him throw in a long time, because to a guy with Boston Scott's height, he's got no window. I mean, he's got the window about the width of a football, and he puts it right in there. Boston Scott gets his hands up, makes an incredible catch for a running back, and then somehow holds on to that ball, gets his knee in bounds, and the Eagles win the game. So, when that penalty happened, if you're a true Eagles fan, then you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I'm not any different. But when that play happened, I truly thought, wow, I kind of didn't expect it. Sometimes I'm a Carson Wentz fan, not the biggest supporter of him at times, because he seems to play with such a nervous tension, and throwing the ball high and behind guys and throwing bad screen plays. In this case, it was fantastic, and kudos to Carson Wentz. I had told some friends earlier this week that I don't know why, but I felt like for some reason Carson Wentz was going to turn the corner this weekend. And maybe with those couple last drives this game, maybe we can keep that momentum going. He can turn the corner and be a little bit better. And of course, the offensive line being in shambles doesn't help, but you got to play with who you got to play with, and those are his guys. And when he's got time, he's got to get rid of that ball. When he's got wide open receivers, he's got to hit them. And on that play, it was like he didn't hesitate. It was like he didn't think. He just took his mind out of the equation and he just reacted. And what happened? Perfect spiral, perfect position. And thankfully for us, Boston Scott on the other end, perfect catch. I mean, as great of a throw that was, it might have been a better catch, or vice versa. They were both incredible. So again, kudos to the Eagles. Big win. Without it, the season pretty much would have been, wrapped up. But great play. Biggest point of the game, and biggest point this week for 7 points. So we'll see you next week. And you can also check out our other videos for 7 good and bad plays for the Eagles this week.